our journey of life, we find that we meet so many challenges on the road. Some things they bring out the wound that at the end of the day they come out as scars. Our victory in my scars is where we come together and share about our stories of the journey that brought about the scars in our lives. These scars can be a healing to some of the people, can be a restoration to other people out there who are still experiencing the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you on Victory in My Sky with your host, Rose Mokoena. Tonight I have a wonderful guest, Ntate, who will introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay, thank you so much, then woman of God. Then my name is Tswarelo. Then I'm a police officer then from Midland, also then a recorded gospel artist. And also then in most featured extra, then on Scheme Sam, the wife, and as well as Lenga Shoni.
Amen.
Yeah.
You've heard him, Ndate Tswarelo. He is a police officer, so I must behave myself tonight. So Ndate Tswarelo will take us through his journey that brought about the victory in his scars. Ndate,
Yes, one of God.
take us through your journey.
Yeah, it is not a good one, but the end product then it's good, as you can see where I am then today and proud.
Amen.
So actually then at first I want to thank then my mom who persevered all the pains. She's been married multiple times but never forgot that she does have a son. Then throughout the marriage, then within the gender-based violence and activities where she was abused. Then I remember then I think I was 4 years old when I asked my mom, then it was around 1996 when she was beaten up, then looking at her hair. And then I had then to cry then to the man who married her. Unfortunately, it was not my father, because when I grew up not knowing my dad. In 1992 when I was born, then I never knew who my dad was. So then yes, she has then to get married so that she can be able then to provide for me and raise me. So she was beaten up until then she passed out, and I could see her being dragged. Then my question was like, then this man doesn't even have sympathy and doesn't even consider the pain that I made go through at the time. So I still remember then the incident. So up until then today, then it has been playing, a vital role to a point where, like, when I see the victim of gender-based violence, I take them serious, especially as a police officer. Then, and also the office that I'm carrying that deals then with such kind of gender-based violence. And so it is not a good thing. And then she got divorced, and then she was married again. And then she got divorced, and then she got married again. The last relationship in which she was, I've witnessed where she would jump out of the window, then running away then from the man that was my younger sister then instead. Then she's still having the scars then in her hands of the knives, the bottles. Then she was experiencing the same thing. But that one, the trauma of the last relationship, it was way too more than the one of 1996.
Can I take you back to 1996?
Yes.
How old were you?
I was told I was 4 years.
4 years.
Because I was born in 1992, 25 October. If I'm not mistaken, I was 4 years, 92,
And
34,
you
5, 6.
experienced all those beatings, the abuse,
And I can still remember the flashbacks are still playing there.
how did that make you feel as a child, seeing your mother being abused like that?
I felt so angry and helpless because there was nothing I could do. Then whenever then I'm trying then to grab my mom, the man then will push me, then I will fall. And yeah.
And you said it's been happening maybe in every marriage she was in, or it's the first and this current one?
The first one happened, the second one never happened, and the latest one, which now, after I matriculated then in 2011, then managed then to get a job, and then I bought a house because we grew up not having a home. We're staying in our grandparents' then home, and then my mother has siblings, and then she couldn't stay there. We're staying somewhere then in the farm, and it was not a good place then to raise a child, as I also then have 2 sons as well. So I had then to sacrifice whatsoever then money that I get then to buy her house, and then I had to take a step and be courageous and say, Mom, you're getting out of this relationship. And I forced her to get out. I packed all the furniture and everything. She never even knew where we were going to stay. She was surprised when we went to a certain village and said, this is your house. And up until now, then I'm still living busy, then rebuilding my grandparents' then house, because now there's no one. Then we are then to go back there.
And the whole time when these things were happening, you said you were still a boy?
I was still a boy.
Experiencing everything. The emotions. Have you ever maybe felt so angry towards this man that you can just grab him and beat him up?
Of the first marriage, it was never that much, because he really never raised me up until I was matured enough. Then she managed then to exit herself. Then the second one, whenever I see, actually the second abuse, which is the third marriage, whenever I see this man, I would, because I remember last time then I grabbed an axe. I wanted them to cut him off. Then he ran off then into the railway, because where it is, there's Devil's Glove behind our house. There's a railway where the train is passing. So then he has to run that side. And then when I became a police officer, then I had my gun. I was like, if it was not because I'm thinking about my sons and my mom, that she's gonna suffer if I'm normal, because I will shoot him because I'm still having that anger, and then I was gonna provide for her. And the family members that she grew up with, together with her siblings, used to laugh and say she's a drunkard. There's nothing good that is gonna come out of her. Her children then will end up being her like her. So unfortunately then with God it turned out the other way around.
Hallelujah. Were you her firstborn?
I'm the firstborn.
You are the firstborn.
Yes.
And the whole time you were with her, in and out of these marriages,
Always.
experiencing the bad and the good.
I was always then with her. And sometimes then she'll come back then drunk. I'll make sure that I talk to her up until she falls asleep, because she will always then shout, want to, express her feelings, then because of the things and the trauma that she went through. And I'll make sure that she sleeps and she's well fed. It was not a good thing, And as a man,
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a short break. We shall be back.
To the men out there, I want to say to you, let me speak to the boys first, to the teenagers, to our sons. You need to value family. The first thing that you should be trying to do and build as you progress with your life is to make sure that your sons grow up in a knitted family, and it is able to teach them the values of family. To the men out there, it is time that we regroup and come back, and not just look at gender-based violence as we hear the reprisals of what has happened. It is what our society has interpreted. Let it not be hurtful to us, but let us find ways how to regroup as men and build back our societies from our children. Lead from the front and learn that the wounds from the past cannot be the culture that we imbibe and continue with. Thank you.
Before taking a break, we're talking to Ntate Tswarelo, taking us through his journey as a young man, experiencing or seeing his mother being abused by the father or her husband. Ntate.
Yes, I am man of God. So, and I'd say it was not a very good experience then at all. And as a man, by now, I should be, or could have turned to a different man who's abusive and have been in and out of jail. But I tend then to be a very different person, because I've experienced then the pain, and I have witnessed as well then the pain where my mom then will, seeing a woman who gave birth to you, jumping over the windows, running people on the street, then laughing at you. and then calling police several times. They just come and say, sort the issue out, call the elders. What will the elders do? By that time, my grandmother passed away, was the mother then to my mom. The grandfather is no more. The whole siblings then to my mom, they don't even care. Just say he's a drunkard, that is the life of the farms.
The whole ordeal, the whole experience, how did it affect you as a young man before becoming an adult, a responsible adult?
It actually then academically it did play a very negative, impact, because I was not concentrating. Whenever I'm in class, I also always think, what is it that is happening with my mom? Because full time I never stayed with her. I used to visit her by the school holidays. And when I phone her, then she's drunk, my concern would be like, what is it that man is going to do to her? Sometimes I'll even hike, not having money then for taxi fare. I'll stop the ventures and say, guys, this is the problem that I'm encountering. At least I can reach where my mom is. I remember I bunked school then for a week when I was in grade 10 because I was way too concerned about my mom and then my younger sister, looking at the behavior of that man. Even now, I want to forgive him 100%, but I can't. I don't know how am I going to do that. When I see him, all those things, memories just come back. The only thing that calm me is that you are having a firearm, you're a police officer, anything can happen. Collect yourself together and let it be. Now you are a different man. Be happy you're not like him, and I don't want to be like him. And I don't want to be like an abuser.
How is your mom now? Is she still around?
She's still around, but not really 100%. Because I feel like she needs somebody then to talk to, since like she's not in good terms then with her own siblings. She's got no one to talk to. The mother passed away and everyone.
Have you ever maybe sat her down and find the reason why she was drinking like that? I know it's not about her, it's about your story today. But I just want to know, you've seen her many times drunk. Have you ever asked her what is pushing her to be drinking like that?
One day when she was drunk, she said, it is painful. I could have become a teacher or a nurse. I had then to quit school so that I can look after my siblings, because she's that kind of a woman that I think I have inherited the heart that I have then from her, of not wanting to see her siblings and the family suffering. She quit school so that her siblings can be well, and her mother and her father.
I'm going to say something. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen out there. There is so much that I'm perceiving from you as we are talking. You see me being emotional. The gift in me is just taking me deeper. I'm feeling your pain. We are still, it's like there is still that thing that is a wound that is still bleeding. You really need, have you gone through counseling?
I've never.
Even in the department, you're a police. Have you gone through counseling?
I've never went through counseling because I'm that kind of a person.
You have taken so much.
I like to.
You have taken so much. We have missed so much in your life because of your mom looking after her, worrying about her, all those things about her.
I've never went through counseling because I'm a certain person that like to keep my life then private, as ever that I do private, because of also then the background of the family I'm coming from. Family that has got no love, a family that has got no unity, that is selfish. Whenever they see someone not making it, as long as it's not their children, they are rejoicing. At the moment now, if I can remind you, tell you this, early this year when we were fighting over the land, the stand, or either a place where like used to stay with as a family, there were ways that I'm not gonna make it in life. They're gonna kill me. After I won the battle that the land is to be given to me, that it belongs then to my forefathers. So in my mind, I'm like, these people, they don't even want to build here. So later on, when investigated, found out is that their children has failed then in life. No one is working. I'm the only one who's working for government, pushing, doing all those things. So who am I that I may be favored by God from the womb of a drunk woman to the person I am today? It was supposed to be their children.
What is it that is giving you so much pain when you always think about that happened to your mom, that brought about the scar that you are having? There must be that incident, that experience that you've encountered, that every time when you think of.
The incident of seeing my mom being beaten up until she passed out. The incident of seeing my mom being stabbed in my presence. The incident of seeing my mom then running half naked in the street, where like the villagers are there just clapping hands, everybody's just looking. This is the society that we were facing then in South Africa, where like if a person is in pain, people cannot rescue. All they need to do is cell phones and watch and laugh. Then, and try then to put yourself in those shoes. Tomorrow it's me or it's my mom. What or how will you feel if we do the same? It is not good.
Not at all.
That is the most incidents that triggers my mind and arises then my anger. And now I'm living towards then disappointing an enemy, whoever that is jealous, whoever that thinking the worst out of my family, which is my younger sister, my mom, and my own 2 kids. I'm just saying, like, I'm striving towards giving them the better future and saying if they thought we cannot make it because we're from the womb of a drunkard woman, so unfortunately God will make it to a point where like we make it in life. Remember then in Nehemiah chapter 13, the Bible says when Satan Sangomathan was hired then to curse the people of Israel, the curses turned then to be the blessings. So I believe in that. That is scripture that I carry each and every day.
Powerful. We've had yeah, it is not easy out there, whereby when people supposed to support you, they tend to laugh at you, take out their cell phone to take pictures as if they're shooting a movie. Who shall be back?
I know there are people who are where they are by their own ways. They've been trying to do their own things to be there. But when you trust in the Lord, you need not to give up, because the right time will come. And when God lifts you up, there's nobody who will grab you down. Many people are going up. Baduma for 2 years. Uchaja 60,000 today, tomorrow. Abasambiza lo batali 5,000 or ukareli kampiza. What makes them to be there and tomorrow they are down? We must have to ask ourselves question. It is the way they go. If you don't go in a right way, you will come down.
Wow.
But those whom God will lift, they will remain. It will take time for them to go there. So I'm encouraging somebody there to say, it can take time for you to be on TV or to be a prominent, but that does not determine where you are going. Just wait for the right time of God.
Amen.
Don't mind about those who are there. Many who are there today, I'm always saying, they are no longer there. What makes them to be down today?
Welcome back. We're still on Victory in Maska with your host Rose Mokoena. He was telling us about his journey. You are a man, you were a boy before becoming a man, and you are dealing with a female, which is your mom. Sometimes we feel like girls to girls, boys to boys. Maybe if it was a father, now you are a boy, seeing your mom naked or half naked, seeing your mom being beaten like that.
It is not really good. That's what I always tell my younger sister. you know, always when I'm sitting with her, from last actually, she, you know, she ascended to this thing of what we call it, what is this thing of, jolo jolo, the adolescent stage.
Okay.
I would sit her down and say, you know, the things that you have today, I never had. I had to go to school. I don't know the feeling of a toughest. I've never had a calculator up until I matriculated. That is the other reason why I even failed mathematics. And I just said, it's fine. As long as I can get a job and look after my mom and my younger sister, then that's all.
Are you living with her, with your mom?
No, they are in Limpopo.
Okay.
Apparently now then I'm working towards having my own property so that they can come and live then with me together with my sons. And then to have a stable life, because I'm still not married. So I just want to fix myself first and then make a home for my family.
How is it when it comes to your relationship? When you have a partner, do you see the whole thing with your mom and your dad, your stepdad, or your in you or in that relationship?
Sometimes I think I fail to love because of fear that what if I become like that man? But my conscience tells me that you can't be. It's been a long time than not being in a relationship. Sometimes, you know, like I want to marry. I'm saying like, don't the poor child then maybe feel abused, even though I'm not an abusive person, never laid my hand on top of any person. I've never done that, and I've got fear because I respect that image that I'm gonna, or that body that I'm gonna abuse. It's an image of God, and then the same pain that I'll be inflicting is the same pain that I won't bear if it is done back then to me. It is not, if as a society, before we do things, we think, we would be living in a very better country than peaceful.
It means you are still seeing yourself or taking sometimes it's a blame, maybe you are blaming yourself that you didn't even protect your mom enough when you were young. If you were strong enough, or if you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe you could have prevented some of the things to happen to her. Now you are afraid to have a woman, to have a wife that maybe you won't be able to protect her like you didn't protect your mom. Is it the case?
It's that because I'm not a violent person. I'm not a violent person, but I'm a very short-tempered person when things don't go right. But most of the time, I think what heals me, that's why I even ventured into music. It's music, and mostly then it's the worship, soulful songs. I release my tears then in private. Sometimes I just drive or take a walk then into the bush, look at the nature. And
Tell us about that one, the music.
Okay. When I started, actually then I got saved then in 2007. What led me then to church, it was the sound of the keyboard and the mic. And then up until then I continued and then remained strong and faithful then to the Lord. 2018 I released my first album. This is what after I was attending Divine Interventions, and the former Lieutenant General, the female, the Provincial Commissioner Dilangi. And most of my colleagues, they will say like, when you sing, people cries. When you sing, people falls down. And then why didn't you record an album? And I recorded my album, then I've sold so many copies, then by hand. And then now, last 2 months back, I've released a song that is called Heal the World by Tswarelo. So it was dedicated then to actually South African women and children going through the gender-based violence, that this is a sickness. Then the Lord need to heal us. And the other one is still coming, it's called Indlela. Indlela, then by Tswarelo. It's about like, okay, in life, somewhere, somehow, things won't go right, you will fall, but still, you won't know them, tomorrow will rise again. And the last one, it's Bophelo. It's sort of like my piano. I wanted people to enjoy it when they're at the tavern. Bophelo by Tswarelo. Say Bophelo buima ntate ntshwara letso. This is what after I was wrongfully then accused and spent 27 days in jail. And in 2018. And later on, it was discovered that there was no such things. And up until then, today, and then I wrote the song when I was in prison. People were laughing at me and say it's over with him. The job is gone. The career is gone, because you want to do many things at the same time. Because one of the things that I'm doing, it's I'm writing a book. So I'm halfway it, the tears and the pain of my mom in me. That is the title of the book.
So you're writing, you're singing.
And
You'll say it was inspired by your journey.
Yes, indeed. And also then ventured then into acting as well. And also then now I'm studying paralegal. So what I want to see myself at the end, becoming an advocate, so that I can defend those of gender-based violence. That is the other reason why I want to study law. Now I'm still doing paralegal. Because I never got good marks then from high school. So I had to start with the college, get the diploma. From diploma, then I'll start an LLB.
Okay.
Yes.
That's Tswarelo. Thank you so much for
Yes.
coming to Victory Master.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
man of
it
God.
was an honor. Your story just moved me in tears.
Mm.
But in 30 seconds,
Mm.
I just want you to say one or two things to the viewers. Word of encouragement.
You know, then to all the viewers that are really watching this, you need to pursue whatsoever that is in your heart, and the spirit of humanity be in you. Even if people say that you cannot do it, but believe in yourself. There's no person who's going to come and grab you than to where you're supposed to be if you are not standing up yourself. And again, gender-based violence is not a solution. You then sorting them to violence. Be peaceful and protect people that are around you, especially your parents. Men, you need to stop this. Being violent doesn't mean you're a man enough.
Yes, violence is not a solution. Let's promote love. We've heard from him, we heard about his journey that he went through as a young man, young boy with his mother. But we thank God that he's here today and the mother is still doing well, even though maybe she's still like you said. But I believe by the grace of God,
Amen.
she will find help. From us here on Victory in Masca, we just want to appreciate you for taking your time. And from us, we love you so much. Peace.